In this video, I would like to introduce you to a non-traditional strategy for adding fractions. I call it the mental strategy. This strategy does not find a common denominator as you are accustomed to, but still uses the idea of a common denominator. This strategy allows you to work many of your problems mentally and just write the answer down. This strategy requires that you reduce more answers, but it is still faster. How does this strategy work? You simply multiply the diagonals and add to get numerator of answer, and then multiply denominators to get denominator of the answer. When would you use this strategy? This strategy would work best if the numerators and denominators are single-digit numerals and easily multiplied. Let's look at an example. Example 1 here. If we had 1/3 plus 1/2 using the mental strategy, we take 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3 times 1 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5. So the numerator of the answer is 5. Now we multiply denominators. 3 times 2 is 6, so the denominator is 6. We look at the answer, 5, 6. Will it simplify? No, we are done. Let's look at this traditionally, where we had to find a common denominator. Well, first we need to find a common denominator for thirds and halves. Common denominator for thirds and halves would be 6. Now we take 3 into 6 is 2 times the numerator 1, we get 2, 6. 1/2, 2 into 6 is 3 times the 1 is 3, 6. So 1/2 is 3, 6, 1/3 is 2, 6. Now when we add fractions, we add the numerators, leave the denominator the same. So we take 2 plus 3 is 5 over 6. Same answer, just a different root. Basically, what's happening with this strategy is we're allowing you to do the common denominator part mentally. Let's look at example 2. Let's take 4 times 5 is 20, plus 6 times 3 is 18, which gives us 38 in the numerator of the answer. Now we take 6 times 4 is 24. That becomes the denominator. Now, if you look at the original problem, the denominators were 6 and 4. 6 and 4 have a common divisor of 2. Hence, the final answer will be able to be simplified by dividing both numerator and denominator by 2. So 2 into 38 is 19, 2 into 24 is 12. Now we have 19/12, which is an improper fraction, and you may want to change this to a mixed fraction, which will be 1 7/12. Looking at this traditionally, common denominator for 6 and 4, we always ask about the least common denominator. In this case, least common denominator is 12. So then we take 6 into 12 is 2 times 5 is 10. 4 into 12 is 3 times 3 is 9. We add, we get 19/12. You notice that's similar to what we had in the other problem, except for the other problem had 38/24 first. And we simplify to 1 7/12. Now, or what they discourage students from doing is using 24 as the common denominator. And then 6 into 24 is 4 times 5 is 20. 4 into 24 is 6 times 3 is 18. We add. Now we have our 38/24, just like we did in the mental strategy. Then we would simplify to 19/12, simplify to 1 7/12. So basically, what this mental strategy is doing, the part in white will be done in your head mentally. So you would just write 38/24 and then simplify if need be. Example 3, what about 5/8 plus 2/3? If you look at the denominators, 8 and 3, do they have anything in common? No, there's no common divisor. Therefore, we'll probably get an answer that does not need to be simplified unless you want to change it to a mixed fraction. So in this case, 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 8 times 2 is 16, gives us 31 in the numerator. Now we take 8 times 3 is 24, 24 in the denominator. And if you look at 31/24, nothing will divide into both, so we're simplified. But this is an improper fraction, so you may wish to change it to a mixed fraction, which in this case would be 1 7/24. Let's look at example 4. Mentally, 8 times 4 is 32, plus 5 times 1 is 5, gives us 37 in the numerator. 5 times 8 is 40, gives us 40 for the denominator. If you look at 5 and 8, there were no common divisors, so 37/40 is simplified. And this is a proper fraction, so we are done. This is how we could do many addition problems of fractions mentally. I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you found it informative and beneficial for your future in computational math when it comes to fractions.